Welcome to Unfoolish Investing, everybody. Episode 13. Lucky 13. You know what that means, Larry?
I don't know what it means. What does it mean?
It means there's breaking news. There has to be breaking news because it's the 13th episode. And to start us off with this urgent breaking news, we're going to be talking about CVS. That's right. CVS and the CEO everybody loves to hate, Karen Lynch. With that, let's go to Larry with the breaking news.
Yeah, CVS, everyone's favorite stock, everyone's favorite company. Everyone loves CVS. So, we'll start with the good news. So, some of the good news is there's been some activist interests that have actually amassed a stake in CVS and are pushing for changes.
Glenview Capital.
Yeah, Glenview Capital. I think they've amassed approximately a 1% stake, which doesn't sound like a lot, but CVS is huge, so 1% is quite a bit. You know, they also own activist positions in Teva Pharmaceuticals, which they're a big generic pharmaceutical manufacturer. I think they're based out of Israel. But anything that shows some signs of potential change or progress is big news for the employees at CVS. Big news for the investors, whether they're retail investors like us, just average Joes investing, or the companies that are holding CVS, which makes up the bulk of CVS shareholders.
Yeah, so, I mean, and I feel like we talked about this a bit in our previous. CVS shares continue to struggle. They're down about 22% year to date, 22%. Just to kind of flip that, the S&P 500, Mr. and Mrs. VOO, I think is up over 25% year to date. So it tells you right there why the activist investor would be interested in CVS. Karen Lynch, I'm going to keep mentioning your name. You should be fired. And for me, it's the investors like yourself and I and the thousands upon thousands of CVS investors out there that are losing confidence as the company continues to cut its full year guidance quarter to quarter. 3 straight quarters now.
Every quarter.
Every quarter.
It's just, hey, we're doing worse than we thought.
We're going to have to re-advise and re-advise down. We're not re-advising up. I'd kill for a re-advised up. Yeah. The CVS stock actually closed about 2% higher, I think, yesterday or today. It seems that the market is reacting positively to the idea of an activist coming in and shaking it up. You know, and for me, I think we talked about this prior in our list of worst CEOs that are currently out there right now. Karen Lynch, I cannot say your name enough. I don't know how you're still working.
That was a good video. I want to plug that old video because that was a great video. We had great CEOs and we had not so great CEOs.
And why you shouldn't invest. And our problem was we had invested in CVS prior to Karen Lynch taking over. And she hasn't done us any favors. No. This isn't CVS's first rodeo either with activist investors, if I'm correct. Earlier this year, what is it, Sachem Head or Sachem Head Capital Management, which is another pretty well-known activist fund, disclosed a stake in CVS. And back in 2019, I'm pretty sure Starboard Value also built a position in CVS to try and shake up leadership. So far, Karen's got like Teflon. She needs to get rid of that Teflon and be gone. Specifics about Glenview's proposals, just kind of going into it a little bit. Typically, activists push for operational changes, whether or not it's cost cutting, asset sales, or a complete shift to a strategy that creates more shareholder value, which we would kill for, as any CVS shareholder would. Down. Did we say 22%? 22%.
We did.
Uh, we
Yeah.
did. It's possible they're suggesting something along these lines to create more shareholder value. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a tricky slope to go down, but it might be the right one because what I can say confidently is that what CVS is doing today stinks. And the company's not going in the right direction. I personally hope they push for a leadership change because I think Karen, and the board, quite frankly, because I think the board's enabling the CEO to just run roughshod over the company. But I think everything comes from the top, and they just need to just clean house and kind of start over. I think before CVS and Aetna integrated, CVS had a really strong executive team, and all those legacy CVS executives got purged. Basically, like Aetna basically took over CVS and thought they knew how to run a pharmacy business and a pharmacy benefits business, and it's very clear that they don't. And it's also very clear that they don't know how to run an insurance business either, because now what was it, the insurance was carrying CVS for a while. Like, CVS Pharmacy wasn't doing well. The insurance segment was doing extremely well, and now that's not even doing well.
We're
It's like the
talking
thing that
about
they knew
Aetna.
how to do.
We're
Yes, I'm
talking
talking
about
about Aetna.
Aetna for
Yeah.
anybody out there that is unaware.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So everything they touch just turns to garbage, to put it, G-rated. So that's what I would be pushing for. I don't think anyone has any confidence in this leadership team.
Yeah, and I think that CVS is dealing with a lot of higher medical costs on top of that
Yeah.
from the end. Seniors catch up, on
Yep, a lot of deferred
procedures.
procedures from COVID.
Yep, 100%. That, which again is putting pressure on CVS's bottom line,
Yeah.
but it's retail pharmacy business. For me, I see that like, you know, left, right uppercut, prescription drug reimbursement rates just continue to drop, which is
Very low. Yeah.
awesome for the people at home, but it's a negative for CVS, and inflation and softer consumer spending, just continue to make it harder for
Yep.
CVS to turn a profit in the front of their stores. I mean,
Yep.
I think, I'm not sure what's going on with the insurance segment. I just don't think that the board, especially Karen Lynch, has any idea of what to do. And I feel like it's been so many years of trying different things. And it's like, oh, wait, no, you just have to wait one more year. Give me one more shot.
Yep.
She just wants shot after shot to continue to tackle the same challenges that have been staring her right in the face for years now. I mean, CVS, I believe, just announced a plan to cut $2 billion in
Yep.
expenses. And
Yep.
um, did
We'll
I
get
hear
into
this
more of that in a
correctly?
couple of minutes.
Up to 3,000 corporate roles terminated
Yep. Yeah, so that's the next thing I was going to talk about. 2,900 people. It started today.
today.
It started today.
Oh my
Um,
God.
from sources that have contact with. 2,900 people. They started the process today of eliminating 2,900 corporate roles. And from what I understand, that number was much higher, but they canceled some job openings that weren't filled yet, so they were able to get that number down. But my understanding, it was significantly higher and came down to 2,900. And this is after they got rid of 5,000 people last year. So they had this same type of thing last year, and they got rid of 5,000 people, and they said they laid off all those people last year, saying, under the premise that it was a one-time thing, they wouldn't have to do anything that big again. And now a year later, here we are, another 2,900 people have lost their jobs because of this incompetent leadership.
Yeah, and I mean, last year what did they shut down 800 plus stores, and now they just announced that they're closing another 900.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
on foolish investors, what I want to say to you is, when management at the top, we're not saying that CVS isn't salvageable, because it is.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have management that continue to react with rifts and closures without ever pivoting, it tells you that they don't know how to
They
fix
don't know
the
what to
problem.
do.
They like, and that's the problem. They're all looking at it through the same lens, and that's why you need this activist to come in, shake things up, and put fresh eyes on it to basically say, no, what you're doing is completely wrong. And it's wrong, and that's why you're losing money. That's why you can like firing almost 3,000 people. And I'm just going to round it up to 3,000. 2,900
Mm-hmm.
is a stupid number. It's probably
Yeah.
going to be like 3,000 or possibly higher. And I guarantee you, a company that starts with a rift of 3,000 does not end there. Does not end
Yeah.
there.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
that's what they said last year. It was 5,000 was a one-time thing, and they clearly that wasn't true. They laid off another 3,000. So it's like, what's next? What if you're like, how do you feel if you're an employee there?
yeah, and I would say, when you're looking at, how to wait it out to see how this is going to play out, my big advice is to stay calm. We've said it an awful lot, monitor how the company responds to Glenview's proposals, but avoid
Yeah.
making reactionary decisions based on the short-term market movements, because that's not what we do as unfoolish investors. And I'm not saying buy this stock. Do not buy this stock. Do not buy the stock. We're stuck with the stock because we saw we bought in under different leadership, and a
Mm-hmm.
leadership that was growing and a company that was growing.
Yep.
And that's not what's going on right now. And now you have 3,000 layoffs. And I didn't see one of those adjustments being Karen Lynch's salary.
Nope.
I did not see her being like, you know what, we're not doing really well. Let me take $1. I get all this other stock and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, if you trust me, I will take $1. I will save thousands of jobs. I'll take the $1 salary. They don't do that. They don't do
Yep.
that. The board and the CEO are probably saying, "Oh, but I'm worth this much." No, you're not. You're not. You've lost 22% shareholder value. You are not worth that much. And in fact, you're probably
Yep.
stealing that money because you're not earning a paycheck. You haven't justified a single penny that CVS has handed you over the last 3 years. Not
Yeah.
one part of it's been justified. And that infuriates me as an investor. Infuriates me. You're laying off, you're closing down, you're hitting the little man over what? And the people at the top didn't take a pay cut.
Yeah. Unaffected. Yep. Totally unaffected.
Absolutely aggravates me. Aggravates me and beyond. Karen Lynch should be fired, and she continues to just.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think she needs to go. And I think with a leadership change, you would see the stock rebound. I'm not saying it's going to go Starbucks and just immediately go back to where it was, 18 months ago, like 30% gain in a day. But it wouldn't shock me you saw like a 10 or 15% bump as soon as they announced the leadership change. Because
How
I
much?
think, you said it, the company is salvageable. Just not with this team.
I want to get back to my last point just for a second. Did they announce how much those 2,900 jobs would be saving the company?
So my understanding is that the layoffs are part of that $2 billion savings that you talked about. So like they talked about the store closures was one piece of it. Staff reduction was another piece of it. So I don't think they broke it out by, the store closures are going to save us, $1 billion, and the RIF is another billion. So I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of because I quickly pulled up her salary, and I think she's making north of $22 million a year. That's right, $22 million. if you're sitting at home and you be like, hey, what can I do to absolutely suck at my job and get paid millions? CEO of CVS, CEO of CVS. Um, like,
Blind squirrels, man.
Blind girls.
Yeah.
But if you kind of break that down, I'm thinking, you know, you're looking at if she took a $20 million pay cut, you could probably keep somewhere around 400 jobs. 400 jobs. Just, and she's still getting paid 1.2, $1.5 million, which don't tell me that's not enough to live. Do you
Right.
know?
Plus all the stock equity that she gets.
Correct. So if she took $1 million salary instead of a 20 to $22 million salary, 400 less people would be going on the unemployment lines tomorrow. And again, that's what bothers me the most is when these top positions don't really crunch the numbers.
It's just, yeah.
And that's what you're seeing here at CVS. They're not crunching the numbers. I feel for you, CVS employees, that are losing your job. It's horrible. It's horrible. And the CEO continues to drive the company into the ground, getting paid 21, 22 million a year to suck. It's horrible.
Yep.
It's absolutely horrible.
The other thing I wanted to bring up
Okay.
about CVS, I don't know if you've read this. This is from the Wall Street Journal, that CVS is actually, the board is actually considering splitting up the company. You could believe that. So I'm just gonna read the quick note here. Again, Wall Street Journal. CVS Health is conducting a strategic review of options for the company, including a possible breakup of the industry giant, according to people with knowledge of the matter. The company's board of directors has retained bankers to facilitate the review, which has been ongoing for weeks.
You know what this reminds me of?
What's your immediate reaction?
GE.
I
My
mean,
immediate reaction is GE.
comparable in size.
Giant company acquired another giant company, continued to expand, got hit with scenarios that they did not foresee. They had good leadership that left poor leadership in charge.
Yep.
That's right. Which basically tells me an awful lot. And Larry, I'm not you, Larry, the former CEO of CVS. I can't even blame him because I feel
Larry
like
Merlot. Yeah.
yeah, I can't even blame him because I feel like he almost was hostily removed from there and replaced.
He got paid to go away, basically.
Because CVS bought Aetna, and then all the CVS people got replaced.
Got purged. Yep. And
By
replaced with
Aetna
Aetna
people. And
patsies.
like it doesn't make sense. But I mean, if you look at it,
Yep.
CVS owns Aetna, right? Which is one of the largest health insurers, right?
Yep.
And if you compare that to GE, which managed a range of different businesses from aviation to healthcare, right?
Mm-hmm.
They both of them operated in multiple sectors, right? And it created a complexity that management just couldn't figure out how to effectively grow. And I look at it, I'm like, is CVS really a good company, or did Aetna bring them down? Or was it the fact that Aetna's leadership didn't know how to manage CVS?
I mean, that's what I think it is. I think they thought they understood how to run the company. And I think they kind of took it a little too flippantly, where they were like, oh, Aetna's so great. And, obviously, like, oh, we can just step into this multifaceted behemoth and immediately know how to do everything better than the legacy people did. And we won't keep them around to learn from them. We're just going to get rid of them.
All I'll say is, if they break them up, I'm putting my money in the brand Karen Lynch isn't running.
I think if they get broken up, she'll get paid to go away. That would be my guess. I think if they broke up the company, she would get paid to go away the way Larry Merlot got paid to go away when they joined.
Yeah, I mean, and I will say the benefits of a potential breakup would be a more focused approach.
Mhm.
streamlined operations. And the one thing that shareholders have not seen for the past 3+ years, unlocked shareholder value. Because, but the bigger negative would be they merge to create synergies between pharmacy, healthcare services, and the insurance business.
Yep.
And I really feel like those synergies could have worked, still can work.
I think they can still work. Yeah.
I just don't I like it all comes back to I just don't think that the people running the show have any idea what they're doing, and
Nope.
they're happy to collect the paycheck to do nothing. And to me, I think that's what they're doing. Karen Lynch, the board of directors are collecting millions,
Yep.
millions from CVS, from the shareholders, and are effectively not doing anything. And they need to go. And only an activist can get them gone because
Yep.
no one else is doing it. This is
Yep. I
Sears.
mean,
This is more like the Sears situation where you have poor leadership and they're just driving the company into the like the next thing I could see is all the land that they start owning these stores on. They're going to start selling that off next.
yep. Yeah. I mean, they actually own land that doesn't have stores on them because they've done population studies, like migration studies, to try to figure out where the next like suburb or city is going to pop up, and they buy land anticipating that, oh, in 10 years, we'll be able to build a CVS here. So, maybe they start selling some of that off too. I don't know. I don't like the store closures. I don't like the headcount reductions. Basically, everything they're doing is reactionary. There's no proactivity in it. There's no strategy in anything that they're doing. They're just trying to stop the bleeding, instead of trying to remove the cause. And that, I think that rolls up to Karen.
100%. And I think in conclusion, Glenview Capitals, I think we can agree, potential activist push um, will just mark another chapter
Hmm.
in the company's ongoing struggle. CVS, that is, to regain investor confidence and try and chart some semblance of a path forward.
Yep.
But right now, they have so many challenges, whether or not it's insurance, pharmacy, healthcare services. Um, you know, CVS is at a crossroads, folks. They are at
Yep.
a crossroads. There are crossroads with a drunk driver behind the wheel. Yes, Karen. I don't know if you're drinking or you're smoking, but you're doing something, and it's not called
Yep.
business.
It's not
Um,
working.
it's not. And again, as the situation continues to develop, investors should just continue to stay informed, think long term, consider both risks and
Yep.
opportunities. I mean, again, this activist investment involvement may bring some of those synergies that they need that are more in line with, I feel like, unfoolish investing.
Yep.
But again, patience, careful analysis. I mean, as we continue to navigate, CVS's future. Any closing thoughts from you?
Yeah, I mean, I think you said it earlier. If you don't own it, don't buy it. If you have it, hold it, and stick with unfoolish investing, and we will keep you up to date as new news unfolds. But this could be a multi-year process.
It could. Now, I just want your hot take. Do you think she's drinking too much, or do you think she's smoking something?
I think she's high on money. Um,
Oh, I like that.
I think she just has wait. I think she waited at Aetna for years to be the head of Aetna, and the CEO wouldn't retire, and finally, when Aetna and CVS merged, he retired, and Larry Merlo stayed on as CEO for a bit. Which the former CEO of Aetna is now the CEO of Oscar Health. If you don't know about Oscar Health, look up Oscar Health. Very interesting
Yeah.
company. So I think she waited for a long time to kind of take the reins, and you know, she probably was better suited to take the reins of Legacy Aetna, which she's doing because she kicked the person out that was the former Legacy head of Aetna, because division was doing so poorly. So now not only is she the CEO of the whole company, but she has to run Aetna personally because they don't have any competent management there either. So I think she's just trying to hold on as tight as she can, and unfortunately isn't seeing more than like 2 feet in front of her. Can't see the long game.
Agreed. Agreed. And on that, no long game for you, Karen. Until next time, folks, stay unfoolish. Hit like and subscribe. And don't forget to send us an email at unfoolishinvesting@gmail.com. Until next time.
See ya.